The Wednesday, July 20th, regular meeting of the Oakwood Board of Education. As a reminder, we are audio casting this live to those in the audience. Roll call, please. Call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Bradford, Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn, Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. Please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 2, public participation. I don't think we have anybody to speak. Mr. Manners, have there been any communication this month?
There has not.
Thank you. Agenda item 3, consent agenda. Hope everybody had a chance to review the consent agenda before us. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Janeski to approve the consent agenda items as submitted. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 1.
Agenda item 4, FOIA requests. Mr. Maynard, do we do any getting FOIA requests this month?
We did. It's kind of a routine mention here. The Illinois Retired Teachers Association contacts us at the end of each school year to ask for those staff members who are planning to retire and get their information, and we complied with all that. So,
Thank you. Agenda item 5, OEA. Mr. Johnson.
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. I think we'll be probably getting back into the classrooms here soon. I know this is my first time back in just to see what the room will look like. And I know we still have hopefully some positions that are going to get filled here. And other than that, I'll definitely have a better gauge of how ready we are at August. That's what I'll know. So I got nothing right now.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Committee reports, agenda item number 6. Looks like the insurance committee.
we did. Yes, sir. We had the insurance committee meeting just a few weeks ago with the Oakwood Education Association. Mike Hasselbring was here as normal to present the renewal. And as you heard last month, the renewal was basically I think it was 5.65% less than last year. So that is a nice savings to the district and a help to our employees this year. So we've had an excellent year. So tonight, now that we've had that meeting, there's an opportunity later for the board to take action on that and adopt that renewal. And I will let Mr. Hasselbring know.
Thank you, Mr. Maynard. Mr. Reports, agenda item 7, curriculum. Ms. Kimbrough.
So I was fast that again. So, in my board report, I just listed the grants that we have active right now, which is, I would say, like 95% of my job right now, which is kind of not only managing them, but doing all the ordering, doing all the labeling, getting them delivered. But just a little bit about each grant quickly and how much it's worth and what we're using the funds for, just as an overview. So our most recent is the Arconic grant, which we got, they wired the money in. We have $25,000, and I met with Holly Kelly today from the ROE to come up with a plan to use them. They'll be used for science and STEM. We're going to look at making a makerspace room, but to go a little bit above what we've done in the past, we're going to make it a K-8, and we're going to look at resources that we have makerspace for all the way through K-8 resources. So we're going to inventory those, and then she's actually going to come on site and kind of help put that together. So that and science, so like at the junior high, I know that Sarah Huber went in some microscopes. So money will be set aside for science items for K-8, and then plus we will work on the STEM room. ESSER 2, this is where we did do a grant to, or we did do a payment to Amoresco through this. All the furnishings for the new junior high wing will come out of this fund. all the cleaning supplies that we have used basically have come out of this fund. So the last batch was for this summer and cleaning supplies for the fall. We are closing. It's interesting because with ESSER 2, when we close it, Shannon does the final expenditure report, and then I have to rewrite the grant, and it's basically ESSER 2.2. So then I gotta manage, clean up one, start a new one, and the rest of that money is set aside for once the junior high gets in, needs things, especially with new teachers, then we have money set aside for them once they get in there. The other big item that came out here were the science sinks. So we did get 4 sinks. We ordered those at the end of May, and I think they're not going to be here until like the beginning of August, but still, that's a good thing. But those were all the whiteboards and shelving and things like that for the different classrooms. ESSER 3, that was for $987,000, the ESSER 2. ESSER 3 was $2.4 million, and we paid Amoresco what we could. That was our set-aside money, and then the rest of the money had to go to loss of learning, summer enrichment, and summer school. So we used our summer enrichment to redo the home ec room with that, and I'm proud to say that we had Project Success come in and do activities in there for 2 of the days, and come in there and cook and that. And so that was great, and that's something that we hope to carry on to do. And then Molly will love it once she gets in there. And plus our ag teacher will use that room for food science. So it's ready to go, and we tried it out with 7th and 8th first, and then K through 6th, which was a little crazy, but so much fun. Kids loved it. So that's something that we're going to keep there. For summer school, we did extra pay for teachers. We did transportation, bus driver salaries to help with that. And then we purchased curriculum. And so we would have enough, and the grant would go far enough that we could do next summer as well. And then we kind of probably have to reevaluate. Digital equity grant, that was $66,500. We did 40 hotspots for staff and students throughout the year, and we paid the monthly bill on that. Then all the wiring in the junior high wing, and then digital access spots at OGS, which it took forever to get, but we finally got them and got those installed as well. So that took a lot of money for the connectivity part of it. Title I, I'm balancing fiscal year 22 because that goes until the end of August, and then started up fiscal year 23. So Title I last year was $298,700. Then this year's is $265,600, and that is going to be, we're going to use that money for our current Go Math and Journeys for the curriculum for 1 more year till we pick a new math series and a possible reading series. Flexible seating, we did 3 classrooms this summer, and then odds and ends for other classrooms. This year, the 5th grade, all 3 will have flexible seating. Teacher supplies. So when I did their needs assessment for this year, I took all their needs and took them out of this year's budget because I got to balance within 15% or we lose it. The other thing is what I would typically spend in Title I, I've spent in ESSER 3 because I have to spend it on learning loss. So I'm trying to balance, stay within 15% and still get it spent so that we don't lose it. Title II is $47,870 for the current year. Fiscal year 23 is $35,000. And these are the conferences, the speakers, the stipends for teachers to come out here and work over the summer, instructional coaching hours. So that's what we spend. Really all that goes for teacher PD. Title IV, $22,401 for fiscal year 22, fiscal year 23, $18,764. And we buy all the art supplies, music supplies, science and STEM, math, ELA, novels. The bulk of it goes to the junior high and the high school because the grade school has Title I. But now that K through 8 will be Title I, then we can portion that a little bit differently. But so when you do a dissection project in biology, that comes from Title IV. So anything that is just kind of above and beyond the regular curriculum comes out of that fund. And then we just got an SCL grant through the ROE, and that was $34,800. I worked with Ondine Gross. She surveyed the staff, and then she put together a plan. I revised the plan, sent it back, and so we do have one. That the big thing that is kind of happening now, or we're trying to get going, are the teachers' lounges in really all three, are at the junior high wing, and then the grade school have already, like, when I told them, I sent them a email saying that we got it, like, they already like started, but they already had a plan and got going on it. So that's exciting. And then I met with Laura Head and Dawn Lee at the high school today, and we kind of have a plan for the high school teachers lounge with that. And then for the junior high, right now, just the tables and chairs. And then once we get in, we'll kind of reevaluate what else we wanted to put in there. Then the last, that would also give us resources for staff and students for SEL, speakers that come in, book studies, whatever. She's going to come, Ondine is going to come in and kind of talk to people and kind of find out more specific what our needs are. And then the other grant that I'm managing, but not really my grant, a couple that the ad incentive grant, because our turnover with ag teachers, that I've just taken that on, and the reporting and spending and everything that goes with that. And then Lisa has done the homeless. So we did get homeless money, $13,000 this year. And she did all the Amazon list I ordered. She checked in, I think they're all still boxes in her office. And then I'll do the reporting on that one as well. So those are all the grants that are active right now. So, and back in the day I had Title I, and Title II was to reduce class size, so it paid a teacher, so I didn't have to do anything with that. And 4 was DARE money. And so that's how I started, and now it's grown quite a bit. Not that I don't appreciate all the money, but. So any questions about any of them?
Have you told them enough? How much we're getting?
Well, there's a lot of pink, but, well,
I mean, just curious.
I think over 4 million that I'm managing. So. But it's kind of fun because it's like you don't get to say no. Like it's, but like the teachers, I really appreciate that because the teachers have already come in this summer, like, I got a great idea. You know what I mean? Like, how can we make this work? And it's nice to have that, to do that. And the needs assessment was kind of nice. There weren't a lot of needs. So I feel like teachers are supported and have what they need for that. So the only thing that I'm hoping is that we can send more to conferences and get them out, get some PD that's specialized to them. We've kind of had a hold on that and kind of stockpile a little Title II money. So hopefully we can spend some of that and they can, like I said, it's always good to go to a conference and just network with other people. And I feel like that's important, but that's what we've been missing.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Ms. Canberra. Mr. Odell was not able to be here tonight. Mr. Shelton.
Yeah, really, Mr. Odell's principal report, not much other than that he already had submitted to you. But classrooms are almost complete at the high school, as well as some touch-up painting is almost done in all classrooms as well. And then the gym floor has been resurfaced and waxed. It was not, it was not painted this year. I'm sure I will learn that later on. But that's been completed. The football locker room and the weight room have undergone some much needed improvements, updating, and so that has been almost completed. Got some other things we're adding next week. Some metal O signs that are going to go on the outside football shed and some in the weight room. So we're excited to get those as well. And then other than that, with his report, we're hoping to get some positions hired at the high school that we filled. So that's the scene. And then also, I guess I can report that Mr. Riddle had, some minor surgery that went very successful, and now he says that he can see all the way down the hallway now. So that's good. So that's his report. Unless you have any questions.
Mr. Shelton.
Yeah, and as far as my AD report goes, most of all the sports teams have completed their camps with the exception of cheerleading has one they'll leave on Friday to go to SIUV. But other than that, all of them have been completed. Almost all the youth camps, the football mini camp is going on right now, and it's been a great turnout. good to see a lot of the youth programs come back in those couple of years. So we've seen that and had a chance to get the younger kids back in and meet our high school coaches and high school staffs. It's been really good for that. As far as homecoming is concerned, the game is on Saturday, October 1st. It is noon. It's a Saturday game. And the parade will be the day before on September 30th, 3:30. Generally, I've done in the past, kids will be let out early at 1:40 the day before for the parade. And then the dance will be that Saturday night from 8 to 11. That's in my report as well. The football team, speaking of football, we're first time in 3 years, we're going back to the Gatorade soap game. So that's going to happen on Friday, August the 19th, 7 o'clock for football, 4:30 the volleyball team will have theirs indoors. So we encourage everybody to come out and participate and watch that. So we're excited to have that back. And let's see here, as far as everything else goes, the first home game will be Saturday, the 27th of August against Moments. There's also a Saturday game at 12. The first game is at home this year. And volleyball will open up at home as well against Weaverly on the 22nd of August next month. And then the rest of it's all in the report as well. But I'm happy to announce that there's been a lot of improvements to the weight room, like I mentioned earlier. We've got brand new biometric boxes in there. It's been all painted, ceiling, walls. We took the mats out. We cleaned all the mats up. We have new dumbbell and dumbbell racks that should be in any day today or tomorrow, we're hoping. So we're taking out the I-beam that's in there as well that was used for mechanics back in the day. That's going to come out. We've got some plans to possibly put some turf in on half of the new plyometric drills. So we're really excited where that's going. We've had an opportunity to also paint the concession stand as well. So that's been painted as well as the east side of the football off. A lot has been done over the summer. Hopefully more to come in the future. So I know the Booster Club and I know Mr. Maynard and a lot of other people, a lot of our coaches and a lot of our community members have been very instrumental in that process. So I want to say thank you to all those people. So and I think that's all I have. Any questions?
Do you, so one of the things the athletic handbook, where's
What's that?
the athletic handbook?
Okay. Yeah. We can talk about that at this point.
We have the district athletic handbook
Yeah.
on tonight for action. So was there anything I think you wanted to share about that now?
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Maynard had asked me to put together some information about our eligibility process, which is part of that handbook. So I did that today, some surface level data to present to you guys. I gave you guys a handout, and Chris, if you don't mind, I'll put up here on the board so you guys can follow along if you want. Once again, did a lot of this based on this past school year, and I do track eligibility week by week. And our current policy, we follow the IHSAs at the high school level. I'll let Ms. Burton talk about the junior high here in a minute, but we follow that on a weekly basis, and it is broke down by semesters. So we go semesters, whereas hers is by quarters, the IESA. And we also, in order for a student to be eligible for IHSA guidelines, they have to have passed 5 classes in the previous semester in order to be eligible to even participate in any sport in that semester. So anyhow, then on top of that, our district passed in March of 2018, had passed a no pass, no play policy that will go on top of that, which would take one step further for academic reasons. That kids, if they didn't pass one class, they would not be able to play. And that's, like I said, been in effect since March of 2018. And so I went ahead and I broke down some things. You can see the participation per sport that we had at the beginning of each of those seasons. And some of those were co-op sports, as you see. But next, by week, you can see that the number of students that had popped up, as having at least one F is in that first column. And then that is the percentage of students. We had 227 participants in all of the fall, and that's where that percentage number comes from. And then the second number is 2 or more, right? So if we're looking at a possibility of not going with the no pass, no play, that's how many kids would possibly have been on the list compared to what was on the list this past year. So And as you see, as you go down, I break that down bi-weekly and then also, fall, winter, and spring. And then, so you can see on average in the fall, it goes from about 6 kids to about 3. And then from 4 to 1 in the winter, and then 3 kids on average a week to what would have been 1. Had we had no pass, no play, in effect. And then also I broke that down by semester, and you can see again there where it kind of outlines that same number I was talking about. And overall, as the school year goes on, you save about 2 kids a week, like on average is what that is. And it's a pretty low percentage, but at the same time, it would possibly give an opportunity to a couple of students if the policy wasn't in place. Next, I broke it down by sport, and you can kind of see by sport that some sports it affected more than others, and for various reasons. But I will tell you, by and large, I did not do this, but by and large, more males were ineligible more than females. So that kind of showed up too on my preliminary data. But yeah, so you can kind of see that. I won't go into all that with you, but you can see that some were affected by more than others. And then the next thing I wrote down was by grade. I found this to be very interesting, that the majority of and the vast majority of our kids were underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores that were coming up on the ineligible list. That they were, if you can see that it doesn't really, if you scroll down there a little bit, Chris, you can see that you're on. So you can see that 29 kids showed up, one time for freshmen, 25 of those more than one time. And then as you go down that list, you can see that a whole lot of juniors and seniors kind of figured that out. And as you progress throughout from freshman to senior, you can see that there's not as much ineligibility for the older kids. Now, one might also argue that there may not be as many of those kids get jobs, those kids lose interest in sports. Maybe it is because of the policy, maybe it's not, but you want me to present you facts. This is the data that was from this past year. Now, I will also say to you that that I spoke with Mr. Lee on that. He was the principal at the time in 2018 when this was shifted. I think the AD at the time had spoke with the coaches, and the coaches at the time were very much in favor of going to no pass, no play. I will also say that about 50% of our schools in our conference, in the BBC, do have no pass, no play, and 50% do not. So it's split right down the middle when it comes to our own conference, when it comes to no pass, no play. The next thing, I think the reasoning behind that is that they wanted to raise the academic standards, and so kids couldn't blow off 1 or 2 classes depending on how many classes they had. IHSA says you must pass 5 classes. Some kids majority of them have 6 classes in a study hall. Some kids that are carrying a full load might have 7 classes. But IHSA's policy is 5 classes need to be passed, and then ours supersedes that by going one step further and says that the academics matter and that we need to have all kids eligible every time, kind of like the junior high does right now. And then I'll also, this is probably a good time to mention that our teachers do an outstanding job trying to keep our kids eligible. And I say that we do that in a variety of different ways at OHS. Number one, we offer our kids the ability to come in before school or after school to meet teachers. I've only been at Oakwood for 1 year, and in the 1 year I've been here, I have seen several kids come in and get help from numerous teachers, not just one teacher, but a bunch of teachers before school, or they stick around after school to get help on that subject. And that's the teacher's prerogative to come in early, right? That's on them. So our teachers are going the extra mile by doing that. We offer Project Success after school for those kids to get extra and additional help. And I know that the highest number of participants we have in any sport is football. And this next year, as you know, we're going to morning practices, which now opens up the afternoon for kids to also have the ability to use Project Success to their advantage to also stay eligible in that sport. So that's also one thing. And I should also add that we have an advisory period, homeroom, the first part of the day. And we try to make sure that the kids, if you're struggling in math or English or whatever subject it is, we try to put you with that teacher during homeroom in order to have that student be able to ask questions to that teacher directly to get the help that they need. So I feel like that, our teachers go the extra mile, in trying to get and provide that assistance to them. But once again, I feel like, and this should be said too, you can read a horse of water, but you can't make it drink. And that is that we can offer all of these things, but the kid has got to want to stay eligible. And sometimes we see where parents might want it more sometimes than what kids want it. And so parents were pushing for that, but then sometimes kids, don't necessarily meet that expectation. And so I don't know. I see Coach Johnson's in the room too. I know not only are you a representative of the teachers, but you're also a coach at our building too. I don't know what your thoughts would be, on this and how you see that at the high school.
Well, I was in those meetings in 18, and our football coach at the time, and we were having an issue with exactly the circumstance that the past 5 and then the others don't matter. The kids know that. You tell the kids this is the eligibility, and we had a lot of kids taking 5 serious, and 2, they don't care. That teacher was not going to be able to tell them anything or to have them do anything because it didn't matter to them. And we were having staff come down to us. I guess where we're really led is our problem is we don't have a lot of our head coaches in the building. There's, I think off the top of my head, I think there's 4 full-time, and that's it. Out of every sport, we have so many coaches that aren't there. And so you don't have that accountability. Then some of us who are on the staff are trying to put out fires, but we're not the final say. You express that, as serious as it is to concentrate on the academics, but then you're allowing for somebody to not do anything in a class, and that's okay. I know that from the grade school, it is no pass, no play. Then it goes to the junior high, and I'm not really sure how because I've never dealt with any of that, so I'm not really sure how it affects things. But our biggest struggle is with the kids coming in as freshmen and sophomore. Honestly, the numbers, the way you had it broken out by the younger kids, they're the ones that struggle. And you can tell them over and over and over again, you have to be on top of your grades. And if they know, and we've seen this coming back now full time, if the kids know that there's one standard and they could get away with it there, they're going to try to do the same thing when they get to us. And it takes them a year or 2 to learn it. We also sat and thought about, are we losing kids if we go to the no pass, no play? So if we put that in, are there kids that are in that hallway that go, oh, nope, not going to go out for that sport? There was none. I don't think if you shifted back to it, that's not going to bring in kids to finally say, oh, well, I think I'll go out for a sport now. It's easier to pass or easier to be eligible. I don't think that's the case. I really think that there's that idea of, well, some of the conference doesn't do what we do. And to be as respectful as I can, I'm okay with that. Let them deal with that. Do you want to say that you're valuing a kid's eligibility over their math scores? Go for it. I don't want that to be this. I don't think that's the way that we should approach it. We also kind of took a little poll, I think, with the number of us who had come from districts. I mean, I went from 95 to 99. That was our school policy. None of us kids had an issue with it because we knew what it meant. And we would struggle. There would be a kid or 2 along the way that you get off to a rough start as a younger kid. But by the time that you're older, you know the drills. And you know that if your grade is not where it should be, you know to go in and get it. We didn't have the before school and after school project successes. We didn't have a homeroom. And we have all those things. And I think what I look at when I think of the kids that we're losing, very minimal still, I feel. Those kids are apathetic. They're not the ones who truly care. We always get the brunt from their parents who care more about it than they do. Where were they? They don't come to those parent-teacher conferences. They don't come and show up to us. And so I think that was our biggest thing. Why is our English department, why is our math department, why does the social studies department have to deal with those things when if you do this, it might alleviate? And I've heard that it was noticeable. Granted, we only had like, I think 1 year implementation when everybody was there before we got sent away, but from the teacher, they can tell, especially the ones that have been there for a while. So I like it. I really do. I just think if our job is to make you a better student, that has more value than what you do on the field.
And I will also, thank you, by the way, put you on the spot there. But I will also say I've not had a chance to, after Mr. Maynard told me yesterday to do some research for you, I had a chance to dig into these surface level data. I've not had a chance to speak with coaching staff and see how they feel. He's the first one I've had a chance to talk to about it. So I don't know where they would stand compared to 2018 and now. Obviously, our coaching staff has changed over since then. I don't know. I think that for me, I think that it comes down to opportunity versus academics. And so are we giving kids an opportunity? You know, I think by and large, it will affect some kids. Some kids will stay eligible by switching and getting rid of it. Some kids will. But are those the athletic kids like Mr. Johnson talked about? Or are they not? Maybe it's not. Maybe you can. And I know I've been a coach in the past, and I can tell you that we do have some great coaches in our district. And I know that I will try to bring on those, whether it's extra study table or whatever I'm doing, try to keep them motivated to stay in that sport. But yeah, could this aid and help that? Yeah, it could. But also too, I think kids sometimes will meet the bar wherever the bar is at. So if the bar is here, they'll meet it there. It's there. But by and large, you can see the majority of our upperclassmen kid, they're meeting the standard. They know what's expected of them at the moment. I think it's our younger kids that are still trying to adjust to OHS and translate that. And I don't know that. I know we're speaking of OHS right now. I probably should let Ms. Burton talk about his junior high as well.
I do have one more thing I just thought of that came in because Eric, our soccer coach, with co-op getting Saltport kids, we're not the same.
That's true.
And so to get his perspective on it, he has told his kids that's the expectation. It's going to be different. That's nothing that he can control. And I don't think he's ever talked about having any kid having an issue with that from our side. I don't know that is the same atmospherically with the people who are involved that look at it and go, well, that kid has 2 Fs, but they're from a different school. This one only. I don't know that he's ever dealt with that, but I know in our discussion that was one of the things is that if we go to this, now we have a sports team that's going to have both policies in play. So.
IESA is something the grade school and the junior high both use. And here I've got some data. I sort of looked at it a little differently. I went back times since I've been here. We do eligibility Friday mornings for the following week. Because if you tell a coach on Monday about eligibility, that puts them in a hole when I've got a basketball game and I've already done my lineup. I don't want to do that to coaches. So we tell them Friday so they can plan for the next week. And Friday, if you've been eligible that week, we still play Friday and Saturday, but we start eligibility week is Sunday through Saturday. What I did is I went through and I tried to show you eligibilities, how many students were involved in eligibility, ineligible active for each activity in the time that I've been here at Oakwood. And then I went through and looked at how many had 1 subject, how many had 2, and how many had 3 or more. And the biggest, I think what you can see is sort of that year of COVID really hurt us. And then if you flip on the back, we have within the building 3 times in a season and you're off. On the 2021 year, we did not do that because we were just wanting kids to come to school. We were wanting them to learn. We were wanting them to join. I would have dismissed 4 people that year. I can tell you at this point, 3 of those were summer school kids. They struggled on lots of different reasons. But if you can see across the board, eligibility, the biggest thing I see in eligibility is January. Coming off of Christmas break, kids get really hit on those first 2 weeks and they struggle trying to get caught up. And that would be boys basketball at county and girls volleyball. But I think overall, our kids understand. When we do eligibility, I do some checks with teachers. We are very diligent about working on getting grades every week. And yes, you might not do well on a test, and it may take a couple weeks, but at least there's a grade there to show that I'm going to have improvement. I feel it's very important that we tie that teacher in and work with that student. So I think a lot of times I do pre's on Wednesday and say, hey, you know, your grade's not there, and you talk to your teacher. And I leave it up to them, and what they don't know is I also email the teacher and says, hey, can you make sure you talk to Joey because he's struggling. So I catch him on both ways, and I really work on that. So that's junior high. That's how junior high eligibility goes. So we are no pass, no play because of IASA.
And I would say that, you know, no matter what the Board of Education decides to do one way or the other, we'll support that and enforce it, no matter which way you guys decide to go. But I just want to make sure you have the surplus. And by the way, if this is something that you need more on the table for next month or whatever, if I can get even more stats for you, instead of just having a day to do it, maybe you do a deeper dive, I'd be more than happy to do that as well. So it's just up to you guys, what you'd like Ms. Burke and I to do.
I don't think we need more. I specifically had some questions. I didn't mean to cause all this flurry of activity when I said I want to understand the eligibility policy, but sure. I have a couple of pointed questions that help me understand if in fact I know how this is being calculated. And so my understanding is that you have at the IHSA level, the price of admission, the ticket for admission is you have to have passed 5 courses in the previous semester.
That's
right?
correct.
Right. And then that gets put away, right? We don't look at that anymore. Now we're going to start looking from week to week. Are you passing in all of your classes? Is that correct?
That is
Do
correct.
we factor any of those previous semesters into the calculation for eligibility?
Just the one previous to be eligible to play in the current season that you're in. So right now, as we enter fall, all the spring semester is what we're calculating. Did you pass 5 classes in that
In the
spring,
semester that you're currently in?
second semester going into first semester this year?
Okay.
Yes.
So so let's say we make it through from, you know, August to December is a full semester, right?
Yeah, yes.
In round terms, there's 2
Correct.
quarters in there, right?
Yep.
And so that makes them, if they're passing in 5 of those classes, that makes them eligible now in the 3rd quarter, i.e. the beginning of the 2nd semester to play if they want to play. If they pass those 5, right?
No. So while we're in season, that you have to, since our district is a no pass, no play, they must pass all of, no matter if they have 5, 6, or 7 classes, they have to pass all of them.
No, I'm just talking about eligibility to play.
Okay. Oh, they got you.
So-
yes.
They go on Christmas break, they've got 5 classes they've passed.
Yes.
They're going to start a sport when they come back. I know it's not pretty much that practice to start, but they're going to play basketball in the 3rd quarter, which is the spring semester, or track. Track's a better one. Tractor-based track.
Yeah, in the spring. Yeah.
So because they passed 5 classes between August and December, they're now eligible to play. That's the first hurdle they have to
Correct. That's step
overcome,
1.
right?
Yep.
Okay. And then we put that semester away, right? We don't look at that anymore.
100%. Yeah. Right.
So then they start their courses,
Mhm.
and I'm completely in favor of, if you're not passing all your courses in the spring, when you come back in the season where you're wanting to play, then you shouldn't play. But I was led to believe that there's some sort of a past calculation that's going in, or some rolling semester average that's included in their calculation.
There's a rolling.
So like, for example, if we're saying you're coming back to the 3rd quarter is the very first quarter of 2nd semester.
Yeah.
So we'll say 3rd quarter. It's not like junior high, because junior high is by quarter and the high school is by
Which is one of the
semester.
things I'm
So
concerned about.
you can have a, I don't know, say a D, if you have a 6, you're right on the edge, DF, you're still eligible to play. And then you come back and go into the 4th quarter, you're still in that same sport. But that you do have one bad grade, where in IESA, that's going to get you, or IESA in junior high. In high school, it's not, because 3rd quarter is weighing you down. It's so a lot of kids, if they want to do a spring sport, they may not pay attention to it too much when they come back for Christmas.
That's right.
And they're not really doing the work, and therefore they put themselves in a hole by the time they get to the 4th quarter. Like, hey, now I'm ready to
You
go.
just found my problem.
Yes,
That's my problem.
That's
right
it.
there.
the kids
So
don't know.
my opinion on how this should work is that if you're passing 5 classes between August and December, and you only play a spring sport.
Yeah.
And you busted your butt, you made sure that you were going to be eligible for the second semester of sports activities, whatever they are. Then, in my opinion, from the third quarter through the fourth quarter, if at any given time you're in a sport and you're passing all of your classes, you should be able to play. So if you have a rough start in the third quarter and you're factoring in that rough start in the third quarter into whether or not you can play in the fourth quarter or a sport goes across, I think the price for admission should be what you did in the previous semester. And at any time, you're passing all of your classes, no pass, no fail. The entire time you're in quarter 3 and quarter 4, you should be able to play. But that's not how we're calculating it right now.
That's not how
You understand what I'm saying?
IHSA, that's against IHSA.
Is it against IHSA?
That's not, yeah, that's not following IHSA. That's the first step. Follow IHSA. Then if we want to go above and beyond, we'll go past, but play that.
So it's not the price of admission to be eligible for that entire second semester that you
Not-
passed.
All it does is give you the go ahead that you can now
Now
participate.
you start calculating again for the entire average grade in that second semester.
That's what IHSA says.
Okay.
That's across the board for every school, every
Yeah,
campus.
it is what it is. Just be trying to understand what the IHSA policy is.
Yeah.
Dude. It's just unfortunate if a kid really gets his or her stuff together and at the end of the third quarter, maybe beginning of the fourth quarter, now they're passing all of their classes, but their average is still so low.
I know that was a concern that we discussed. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to sit there and say, okay, we're a little bit more specific at the time
Yeah.
with who would this affect and what kind of kid or do we know? I think a lot of the concerns were with that one spring athlete. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what their focus is. They can get through the first semester
Mhm.
and have what you said, they're qualified because they made it through. And are they going to sink it in the third quarter and that's going to burn on
Right.
for their fourth quarter? And at the time, baseball and track felt like, at least the voices there, felt like they know who they're going to be getting and they're going to be saying, you're in danger.
Mhm.
And we have had baseball specifically that I've been witness to where that kid who's coming around in January, even 2 weeks into this quarter, is the baseball coach is going, you got to get this on. You got to get this to this level so you're ready to go. And for some of those kids, you can see, especially the younger ones that it does, like they get it, like, oh crap, I'm gonna do this. Some of the other ones, it's in one ear and out the other because it's not spring yet.
Mhm.
It's January.
Yeah.
So they got time. That was if you're losing those, you're probably gonna lose them as well because it's not just one class. Like I'm looking at the ones that have more than one in there, and I think that was the issue.
Well, this IHSA policy is what it is.
Right.
It's gonna make the kid give up. That was my fear. Once they see that there's no possible way that they can become eligible again at all for an entire semester, they're gonna give up. But there's no,
And I would also say too, Mr. O and I had talked about this because last year we could not do it because of COVID, couldn't be in here more than 15 minutes. Our plan at the beginning of the year is to not only at the very beginning of the year when we meet with all students, but also have homeroom morning freshmen to explain this, what you're saying to them. That way they know you need to have your
you
act
can't
together.
take your 3Q off.
You got
That's
it.
what you gotta tell them.
That's almost
That's-
the
they need
first
to have
and
the
the third
information.
are the most
They need to
important.
know that. And that's something that needs to be trained. That needs to be explained. That's what we're gonna do.
That was just a lack of understanding of IHSA on my part, but I'm glad that we took a minute to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
How many students do you have that find themselves ineligible if they didn't pass 5 classes? Do you have anybody?
Yeah, last year when I did that, when I first came in, I did that. There were some students. It's not a high number. There's a few students that was in that boat. Now, and at Christmas, there were 2 or 3 students that I can call off the top of my head, maybe a couple more. But yeah, not very many. That number's not very high usually. So of the ones that want to actually play a sport or activity.
And just to, I'm sorry, but just to have the, like, the perspective of the other non-coaches in our buildings that really brought this to us and said, we have nobody to hold them accountable. And if you can get some of those kids to focus a little bit more here with just that one policy change, it helps. And as you said, they'll meet that bar. And those ones that I think that we lose, there's a lot of that. You didn't take advantage of that opportunity until it was too late. And it would be one thing if we didn't have that way to help them. But almost all of those teachers who said, I would help this kid, but they don't seem to want the help. And I think that's huge. So you're putting yourself out there to give the help, and then they're coming in and just sabotaging kind of your accountability that you're trying to hold to.
And I know we're arguing one side right now, but the other side is opportunity as well. I think it's important to look at both sides of the coins and just one. And I think that, you're guaranteed at least the right to get a diploma, right? That's our goal in high school, is to get a diploma. And there are some kids that may not have the opportunity, whether it's apathy or just it could be an IEP, or it could be a lot of different reasons why maybe they don't meet that standard. Maybe they never have a chance to put the uniform on. And so are we more so? Is the opportunity versus academics? And I guess that's what has to be, thought in both sides of the aisle. Are there some kids that this could help? Absolutely, from week to week. A couple kids. It's not a large percentage of kids. It could help. But at the end of the day, does that help our academics and our does it help what our mission is? And I don't know. I think that's up to the school board to decide.
I think it absolutely does. I'm completely on board with it. You're failing one class, you shouldn't play.
Right.
You
That's
gotta
what currently is
pass all
right
your
now.
classes.
Yep.
But I didn't understand the calculation. So a kid that really gets off to a rough start in January, if once he fixes the hole, he could, by April, he could be passed. He could have straight A's in all classes, but he's still not
Yeah,
eligible.
you got a great fourth
And that
quarter
kid-
grade.
And that kid's
Second,
the one
third.
that I'm like, gosh dang it, he's gonna be demotivated. He or she is not. Once they find out that they can't dig themselves out of the hole,
Yep.
you can hang your hat on the rest of the semester. They're not gonna care.
Right.
They're gonna coast.
And which is why they have to be informed of that ahead of
Yeah.
time. And then, and if they don't do it, they don't do it. That's something, once he gets back, you can lead a horse to water and you can make a hearing. You can
There's
tell
just
them,
no, my concern is there's no reward for that kid that got their stuff together in the fourth quarter. They're done.
Right.
And so just all we can do, and especially since that's IHSA policy.
and that can be very confusing to parents too, because my kid's got an
It's real.
A.
Yeah.
He got an A in the class. Why can't he play?
He's
in the
got
fourth
straight
quarter?
A's right now.
He's got
straight
to have
A's for
0
2
in
months. Well, yeah, let's look for the fourth.
Exactly.
Or the third quarter of the new year.
We found out years ago that the HSA doesn't request that you do the first 3 weeks.
Mhm.
First 3 weeks of a semester, you don't take an eligibility.
Okay.
And we don't.
And I don't.
We found out a long time ago though, that in that 3 weeks, you'd be surprised the number of kids who already, they thought, well,
The
I
hole's too
got
deep.
3 weeks
Yeah.
to not worry about it. But at the end of 3 weeks, when you take the first eligibility, all of a sudden you get kids with 20s. Kids got 20%. How'd that happen? That's the thing. Well, no one was monitoring it. He wasn't paying attention to it. And now I've always thought we should do eligibility. And I realize some teachers may not have any grades yet the first week. Or something, but that's why there still should be somebody who's monitoring that to say that I got a student that turned in the first 3 assignments.
I think that was our big concern. I can't for my kids, but say, I know soccer's not the right example here, but if our soccer coach isn't in the school,
Right.
how are they gonna,
I
and
know.
if they're coming and I don't know who that is, how am I gonna say, hey, by the way, your kid that you're relying on here isn't doing anything. I can't seem to get them to motivate. Like, we don't have that interpersonal ability sometimes to reach out to that and connect to that. So I think that was another concern.
And sometimes that first 3 weeks is what kills that kid.
Yeah.
Because he digs a hole, and then all of a sudden he shows up on the eligibility list, failing 2 or 3 subjects, he can't get out of that hole.
Yeah. Even if he or she performed at the top of their game for the rest of the semester, they can't dig out.
No.
That's the one that was worried, or of those small, and I see it's small, a small number.
And it's kind of represented there. You see that. The first part of, of the seasons, more, and then it tails off at the end. More tails off at the end. So it's exactly what he's saying.
And I've always thought it'd be best if you did it every week. And if the teacher doesn't have any grades to report for the first week or so, they just leave it blank or whatever. But those teachers who do have grades to report, and kids didn't turn in the first 3 assignments, they need to know about it.
It's ultimately on the student. I mean,
Yeah.
we're dealing with high school kids there, young adults who need to take accountability for completing their work.
I think, one of the key factors in all this too, when you're coaching up your young people, is 0 is the enemy. There's a big difference in the overall cumulative grade of a 42% versus a 0 on an assignment, depending on how much assignment is worth. And so we used to put together a sheet and have an assembly and show the students, okay, this is what it looks like when you've got a 38, a 42, a 48, now you're getting into the 70s, and what you end up averaging versus here's 2 zeros in there. Now look what just happened. And you recognize when you see it mathematically through the calculation that there's no way I can recover. Now I've lost hope. And now when that happens and that sets in, especially if a young person values, this opportunity, then we're all circling the wagons because that student is in a bad place.
Yeah, they're laid down on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether it's in school and outside school. And so I think this is really helpful to me. First of all, I appreciate all the work you've done in a short amount of time to pull some data, because I needed to know. I wasn't here in 18 when we had these discussions. I've had these discussions in other districts. I think there's some gray with this topic because of what the IHSA has versus what schools are allowed to do. And you could probably argue a case for either side. And at the end of the day, so I've been thinking about this since our conversation yesterday, because I've seen the good and the bad and the ugly on this. And I thought, okay, so in my brain, I've got to be thinking about what's in the best interest of kids. And along with that, what helps school improvement? And so when I looked at that, I said, well, there's 5 things. There's acquisition of basic skills: reading, writing, math, listening, thinking, speaking. High expectations. Number 2, high expectations. Strong instructional leadership. Number 3. Number 4, and you guys all mentioned this in your conversations as I was listening to you: pupil progress monitoring. And then the 5th one is a safe and secure, orderly, and caring environment. Those are the top 5 things. And that's not just me saying it. That's research done by Hamish Brewer, who speaks all across the country. It's probably considered the best principal in the nation, But you hit on all those things in conversation here. So that's kind of where, as you were working on that aspect of it, I was trying to think through it, and put my own experiences on the shelf, on no pass, no play versus the IHSA requirements. And so it's just, I think it forces us to really think about what we're doing and reflect. And I think when we do that, that's how we grow and get better. And I think that's extremely important for Board of Education. I feel like that you can pose a question, and then we will work as hard as we can to find some answers and engage in that conversation with you, and know that that question is valued and important to this process that we're in. So I just commend you all for the work that you've done, and I appreciate it very much.
I think they've done some pretty amazing stuff. And I realize the disappearance of COVID may have helped out with that, but you only have 10% of your kids at the junior high level that are ineligible last year compared to, in 2020-21, you had 30. Last year you had 3.
Yeah.
That's very
remarkable
change.
It is.
So
It is.
Well, I understand the policy better, and I don't have any need for any further discussion to change what our current policy is.
Any further questions on the presentation from Mr. Shelton, Ms. Burton. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Shelton? I guess I should ask her.
I apologize, but I'm gonna go on. Sorry.
Ms. Burton, junior high?
Yes, hello.
Good.
Also, we only had the 3 last year, but I think our biggest barrier last year was the exclusion. We had a lot of kids out of sports because of exclusion. So we're looking at a typical year, and my goal is 3 or less from this year. So we're gonna keep that going. I want to start with saying thank you to people that ran our summer school and Project Success. Mr. Harris did our summer school. All students were successful. And for our summer school, there were kids that were concerned about promotion, and they all completed the program. I love the program because it didn't just focus on English and math, but it went through all subject areas. And I think the biggest thing he taught was habit. Coming to school every day and not having those gaps and just building a good relationship. And I hope they continue that in the fall. So I think those kids will see a lot of success. Mrs. Grant, Mrs. Pickering, Ms. Huber were the people that did our Project Success. And I think they had a lot of fun with that. They did Fear Factor, ate some really bizarre kind of things. And just the kids really had some neat experiences. They wanted to go to Sholem, it rained, and they ended up going to the Minions movie, and it was a good way to finish the program. We'll have softball meeting tomorrow. Baseball already was in the spring, and we can start softball on Monday, baseball on the 1st. We have locker load on the same night as Meet the Stars. We'll go a little early for kids to come in, meet staff, see the building this year, and load up their lockers so they don't have to bring all their supplies with them. I'm anxious about the new building. I said I sort of feel like it's the time where on HGV they say go away and come back for the unveiling. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for all these celebrities to be there to help us when we move next Friday. It's going to be an exciting time. I know the staff, we want to do a bat signal. We all want to go and take a look at it and maybe go to Obie's to celebrate. The one thing I did not have on here is we are planning an open house for the 29th. We want our community to come and enjoy our building. We have had some staff do some professional development. I participated in some positive leadership and some emotion control workshops. Mr. Harris and Mrs. McMaster, our math department, has been out already in the unit office. Mr. Lady and Mrs. McMasters will be co-teaching at base in August. And Ms. Hubert is in Chicago right now in the science conference. So I'm really excited to hear the things that she's learning from her. So that tells me we've got a tip for good coming. So looking forward to August. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Bird? Thank you. Ms. Lepenis?
I want to thank our custodians for their hard work. It's been very tricky trying to come up with a plan for cleaning in the building with the construction, but they've remained flexible. And so I thank them for that. I do want to publicly thank our teachers that are serving as mentors to our new teachers, and that would be Sierra Cross, Dawn Brown, Tiffany Johnson, Nicole Johnson, Andy Rowe, Jen Rupp, Stephanie Bellman, and Tim People. And then we have already sent an invite out to our new teachers for a meet and greet at Mad Goat on August 2nd. And Meet the Stars night will be the 18th from 6 to 7.
Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Lepenis. Ms. Acton is out tonight. Technology, Mr. Richardson.
I didn't really have too much. Just getting ready for the new year with all the devices. Ready to move to the junior high. We've got the new rack ordered, network rack. I don't know if we're being ready today, and they're going to pull down all the access points already for me. The phone's off the wall, so we're ready to go as soon as they come. The other interesting thing I ran into, I had the construction contractor for Comcast come out and walk me through the fiber line that they installed at the grade school. I didn't realize the fiber line is actually run by the railroad tracks. So they're actually going to have to run it down Homestead Street, through the pole, along the poles to the grade school, which I think we're not covering that cost, the federal government is. So all of that is paid for, so we're good to go. That might take it an extra month. We may not have that fiber in, but I'll be able to still have plenty of bandwidth for the grade school junior high. This is just the extra bandwidth for the future.
Questions? Thanks, Sarah. Transportation, Ms. Lunt.
Not much. We're getting the buses ready to start the school year, getting the oil changes done and everything else. State inspections were done this month on all the buses. I think the only thing new I have is, I've been doing a lot of research and really looking and shopping around for a new Suburban. And the cost with the demand out there are insane. I had a few people that I know and trust firsthand that are mechanics come and check out our Suburban and take a look. Our Suburban is mechanically sound. There's no issues there. Some of the issues that do need fixed, my husband has offered to give his time to fix those. He did that with the minivan on a window converter and saved the district over $1,300 doing it that way. The most expensive thing that needs to be done on the Suburban is it needs a new door panel on the back passenger side. We've been trying to tape it up and keep it going, but with it cracked, it gets stuck and they have trouble opening and shutting the door. And just for the panel, that's $500 and that's the biggest expense. I do have a parent in the district who has offered to print us out some more of the decals on the windows, because the decals on the windows are in pretty rough shape, so we can get those up and going. But my recommendation, and I've talked to Larry about it right now, with our Suburban being mechanically sound, I think we're better off fixing the other things in it, especially since Mike has offered his time, because that's where the labor's where the cost was really coming in on fixing some of those other things.
Additional questions from Mr. Lunt? Thank you. Maintenance, Mr. Siddons.
Couple things. We've got the process going on getting the road in. I've talked to Ribby. They're working kind of with Amoresco to try to get the dirt pile. So once it's gone, the road will go in. The other thing is it's the pavilion. I found out this week the guy that was going to do it came down sick, and he had put me out 2 weeks. So by the time I got him called, he is no longer doing concrete because of his health. So I have been the last few days trying to find somebody to do concrete. Been in contact with Ethan. He's still, on board. I'm going, hopefully we can have it in within 3 weeks, but that's no guarantee yet because I've got guys telling me that they're a year out. So I've got 3 more phone calls to make tomorrow. I got 3 more names to call. And hopefully within 3 weeks, we'll have a pad for Ethan for the building. So we are, if you know any concrete guys that you want to donate or whatever, we're looking for at least get the pad in. We're not worried about the sidewalk right now. We at least get the pad in. So if you got any names, I'm open. Give me a name and I'll give them a call. A lot of the bigger guys are already booked up. They're sending everything down to the lower guys, and that's what I'm finding out is the small guys are picking up what the big guys aren't doing. And if you know anybody, young kids, if they want to trade the concrete and block, give them a good trade, and there's a lot of money out there for that. So, there's 2 things to this. So if you know somebody that's doing it, or if you know anybody that's interested, present that. The building's coming along. They got all the classroom tile down. They've got, I think after tonight, they probably will have all the hallway tile down. Ceiling tile was going in the hallways. Electrical's a little bit iffy. We're still working on it, but it's starting to look good. They're starting to bring more guys in. They're working 10 hours on Saturdays. We're still on for the 29th to move. Mr. Mayor and I got a meeting tomorrow morning. Talk with Amoresco again. It'll be probably our last meeting with them before we take possession of the building. So there's a lot going on, and they're moving along on it. So getting pretty excited about getting it done and getting moved into it. So it's been a pretty good project. And that's all I have. If you got anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Siddons. Mr. Maynard.
Yeah, I'll just kind of tag in with Mr. Siddons here. And along with Mr. Siddons and everybody else in the unit office, I just want to thank everyone. June and July are really probably the busiest 2 months of the year in a unit office. When you're closing down a year academically and fiscally, you're at the same time opening up a new year fiscally and academically. You're figuring out your budgets, your needs, you're ordering. You got grants, we got building projects. we got more going on right now. Like John said, we probably have more tore up than we have put back together at the moment. But the communication has been good. But I just want to commend everyone, in the district. Just great work, very committed people that are doing a great work for our community and our kids. And I just really appreciate all that very much. It's definitely been a team effort. And like John said, we are on track. We're going to take occupancy next Friday, a week from Friday, which is the 29th. And that's the number one objective, to take occupancy of the building, because we've got U-Haul trucks ordered, and it's going to be all hands on deck, and we're going to be moving that junior high over to their new wing. And we're going to focus on the most essential things to get in there to start with. And this will be a process. It's not going to be one day and, we have a new home. It's going to be a process. And we're excited about that. They're going to be doing a lot of other continuation of smaller punch list type items all the way up till the start of the school year. There'll be some things because materials. We have brand new doors for the junior high that were ordered in January. They're not here. They may come in tomorrow. They may not come in until October. We don't really know. And Amoresco is trying to figure that out for us too. And it's just, there's really nothing we can do about it. So we have a backup plan in place. We're going to have to utilize and refurbish the junior high doors at Newtown. And they're going to fix those and make those nice, put those on temporarily until those new doors come in. So that's one of the things that we've been working on that we will talk about again tomorrow. We've also got on a different grant, this playground renewing that we're doing with new equipment. That equipment was ordered back in September, and it's still not in. So these are just some of the challenges that we have, and I know Amoresco hates telling John and I that this isn't in yet, we're on them and that kind of thing. And it's not an Amoresco issue; it's a manufacturing issue. It's goods and services, and I think if any of us even doing our own personal things can see there's an impact there. But they're committed and they're communicating, and I know that as things start to come in, the question that I had was, okay, what happens if it's you always have to prepare, plan for things. Let's say it's August 28th, and all of a sudden the doors come in, the playground equipment is in, and everything just lands all at once. But we're in school. What's the plan for that? And so what they do is they switch their work shift, and they start working 3 to 11. So that way they're not there during the day with the kids and being disruptive, and then they can basically capture the building in the evenings and get going on things with the equipment that they have available and so forth. So we talked about that. We have junior high parking spaces that we've added into our contingency. We're still well under our contingency of the $300,000. So depending on what happens with the few grants, we're probably right around 230 is where we're at. So that's been good considering we made it through the hardest part, between piping and everything else that happens early on. But we're trying to create some parking spaces, angle spots for our junior high and for visitors, for parents right there on Sailor Street on the north side. They'll be gravel. And then down the road, we can look to see how we want to make that even nicer, more permanent. But we needed to have something there as well. We also are going to have some additional parking spots at the grade school, which is over on the southwest corner area, because we've done some new things over there with the dumpsters and that type of thing, and for some deliveries and so forth. So we've actually created a few more spots over there. It didn't cost us anything because that was already there, but it was taken up by dumpsters. So trying to be creative with some of that. We have the Star Gym. We've got the floor that was ordered back in January, and we're waiting on that material, that synthetic material as well. That's going to be an 11 to 12 day project. So, we can't do that during the school year. We're feeding kids lunch in there, So that is targeted to get that in and to take care of that over the winter break. So when that closes down, that way they can do the work they need to take out, prep, deal with asbestos if there is, whatever, and then do their thing. So that's just a kind of a highlight. I know you get the weekly updates. I put those out there for you in the community that we get from them, which I appreciate. But just want to kind of highlight some things as we're getting closer to the start date, And a lot of schools are. I don't know a school district right now that doesn't have some kind of construction going on. with someone and something. So it's, you kind of, you're not breathing as well as you normally do as a superintendent this time of year, but it's going to happen, and kids will be here, and we'll have a good school year. So, any questions on construction? I cover that, John? Okay. So we'll meet with them again, like I said, every Thursday. I talked with Diana Vargas, who you met, if not daily, every 48 hours. So sometimes weekends. So we're not taking family vacations together yet, but that may happen. All right. So on another note, just want to kind of highlight most, as you can see from the agenda, most of what we've been working on since the last board meeting has been related to budget, end of the year reports, updating our documents. For example, we have in 2019, the board adopted a threat assessment team plan that all school districts in Illinois are required to have. And we're required to revise those each year. And I just put the finishing touches on that today for the principals to look at. And we have to submit that to the ROE. That's about a 30-page document for threat assessment, school safety. So we have that ready to go. It doesn't have to be adopted again because it's just a revision of some things, adding some names and that type of thing. But I would like the principals to take a look at that and let me know if there's anything that I need to change. Okay. So take a look through that. We're also going to be looking at our crisis manuals coming into the new year. Obviously, school safety number one priority. And with the junior high moving over, that's going to impact that crisis manual because now they're all under the same roof over here. So we'll be doing some work on that. I've spoken with Chief Soderstrom about an update on the student resource officer. We don't really have any candidates at this point in time. He's still working on that. He'll keep me posted. I've communicated that that's something that we value here, and let's just keep working that to find the right person. And so he will do that for us. Personnel, as I mentioned, looking to fill. I took a peek today on the Illinois job site, and there's approximately 3,200 educational jobs open in the state of Illinois right now. Over 2,400 of those are instructional, and ESPs over 600, and then other support staff, that'd be like your psychologists, social workers, 508 jobs. So it's never been more challenging to staff a school than it is today. Never has been. Mr. Janeski could probably attest to that as well.
I wrote reports years ago on teacher candidates taking the testing. In 2008, there were 66,000, I think it was, teacher candidates in the state of Illinois took basic skills and content area tests. 2018, there were 6,000.
Yeah. So what does that mean? You have to problem solve. You have to get as creative as you can be within your limitations. Example of that is that finding quality long-term subs to fill vacancies that are motivated, high character, high quality, want to be here, and are interested in growing in the position to the point where we can help come alongside them to help them with some of their schooling, to get licensed and to fill into that position. And the example that we have would be a Matt Blair at the high school. Perfect example. And so that's probably our biggest, strategy right now as a district. And we're doing that. You'll see that tonight with some long-term hires. Didn't have anybody apply. Don't have anyone available. But we can't be sitting here in 4 weeks and not have somebody for those kids. So I just commend our principals being creative in the work that they're doing to help fill that. So that's a big deal for us. Other than that, I just want to kind of mention we found out a couple weeks ago, I believe it was after our last meeting, that the high school those kids are going to have the opportunity for breakfast this year. It's going to be required because of where we're at with our ratio. And that's a good thing. Those kids will get breakfast, and it's really going to work out well in the fall for that football team when they get out of practice. They're going to have a place to get some food other than a protein shake, right, Mr. Shelton? Yeah. So that'll be good. So one of the things that I need to do is I communicated with the association as well as Cheryl Buck and Nicole Phillips and our foods coordinator, Sheila Ogle, just to say, hey, we're going to be serving breakfast. We got to just like what happened with our other. So our entire cook staff is going to be working 6:30 to 1:30. So when you serve your breakfast, you got to do that. So I wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. Mr. Shelton mentioned a little bit about the high school gym floor. I think it's no secret that that's a floor that it needs some work and has taken on moisture for years. And so we are doing some assessments of that right now to the point where I've even submitted, Mr. Odell and I, Mr. Sims and I have spoken about it, and we're even talking to the insurance right now about it, just to see what kind of percentage of, with the assessment, what kind of percentage of moisture do we have in there? This problem is not going to go away. We're going to have to get a plan pretty quick, and it's looking like that. We can't sand it down anymore, So that maple coming off to save that subflooring, it'll be costly. So we've got to get a plan together fiscally, and when we know more, we'll keep you updated on that. But that's a top priority, right now for high school. So I just kind of wanted to make the board aware that this conversation has just happened in the last 48 hours or so. So refresh. Mrs. Burton mentioned about the open house that we've got scheduled. We're going to continue with some transition team meetings throughout the year to make sure that we're communicating and we're there to serve and see what needs may come up. And we saw invitations for that already throughout the year with our junior high and our high school. School board members, joint annual conference is November 18th through the 20th. I think we do have one board member that is interested in possibly attending. I realize that, unfortunately, right now, that is a concerning place to be walking and moving around up there in terms of law and order. But that is where about 10,000 people will land during that weekend, for the school board convention. So if you're interested, I really need to know as soon as possible, because I've got to schedule and get your reservations for hotel, and I need to set up meals for us and take care of you and be a great host. And I'm a really good host for the joint annual conference, just so you know. So if you're interested, please let me know as soon as possible, because the summer is really the best time to get that going. Board policy updates, you'll see that has been out there for you. We're reviewing those policies and recommendations tonight to approve. The tentative budget is done. It's a balanced budget. It's in your packet that you can take a look at that. You'll notice that obviously we don't have a deficit, but it's tight. I mean, each of those funds are tight, and that's because of the amount of income and revenues that we have from the state. Granted, we've got grants that are specifically dedicated, but the amount of income that we come in from your general evidence-based funding and so forth hasn't changed. But yet we all know that inflation has, and things have went up anywhere from 7 to 9%. That's kind of what we're looking at. So I've tried to account for that, in the budget. So when you look at that, say, wow, $500 in this fund at the end of the year is what we're budgeting. That's what that is. I'm just trying to, and you've heard me say before, I will deflate the revenues and inflate the expenditures, and that process works, I think, well for us as a district for the last few years. So, and we monitor that all the time. So just want to let you know about that. Share that again, any updates in August, and then September we'll look to have our hearing to approve that. You also heard me talk last month about health insurance renewal, and I talked a little about that, so I won't bring that up again. That's good news. We'll need to approve that tonight. And then our workers' compensation, property casualty programs, insurance renewal with Prairie State Insurance Cooperative is up as well. Our workman's comp insurance was a little bit less this year. The property casualty liability is up a little bit more, but we also built a new one. So taking a little bit more there at this point. So I believe that covers everything that I needed to share with you. I want to thank Dinah Clagan, who's here tonight as our treasurer. She has done an excellent job of getting me the numbers to look through and analyze, and just managing that well for us, putting good information to say. So thank you for that, Dinah. So it's a lot of information, a lot going on, but it's a great day to be, so thank you. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Agenda item 8, old business. I don't believe we have any old business for discussion. Agenda item 9, closed session. We have no need to go in closed session tonight. Agenda item 10, consideration and action. Consideration action. Item A, recommendation to employ Josh Hunsberger as a district full-time substitute teacher for the 2022-23 school year at $125 per day plus benefits.
Okay, so this is a new position. We basically talked about this last month. We've been kind of lobbying for this. We think it's going to help our teachers also as well. And there was some conversation about maybe we should do 2. And so I think right now we start with 1, see how this goes, with the understanding that we may come back to the board and say, hey, this is working really well. It's helping us in our schools. We may want to look at a second position down the road. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to lock in a great substitute. So I would recommend that you would approve that tonight.
We have a motion to approve the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Ludwig, to approve the employment of Josh Hunsberger as presented. Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 2.
Item B, we have a recommendation to employ Brendan Watson as a long-term substitute for the science teacher position vacancy for the 22-23 school year. Mr. Watson will be on a long-term substitute pay of $197.30 per day for 180 days. This looks like it's because we have no available licensed applicants.
That's correct. Brendan has his bachelor's in business and is wanting to make a career change. He is excited to teach and will be working to obtain his teaching license in science, what the commander just alluded to. He does have his sub-license and he is an Oakwood grad.
It's back to me.
Everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
So clarification for me real quick. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? I do have one question. So the $197.30, that is without benefits, correct?
It is.
That's the difference between the A and the B.
It is. And the 2 positions are different in that a full-time sub, it can be a little bit confusing, but a full-time sub is someone who is going to show up every day and you never know where they're going to be. The long-term sub is basically a teacher. They're going to be doing lesson plans, they'll be doing grading and so forth. So they get paid a little bit more. That's been our policy when we've hired long-term subs.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Plattner, to approve the employment of Brendan Watson as presented. Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 3.
Item C, we have a recommendation to employ Lyle Westlake as a long-term substitute for the special education teacher vacancy as a long-term substitute for the 22-23 school year. Mr. Westlake will be on the long-term substitute pay of $197.30 per day for 108 days. Again, we have no licensed applicants.
Mr. Westlake has his sub-license as well, and he has a master's in education. He is pursuing his special education license and will hopefully fill our special ed position that has been open for 3 years now.
Amen.
Got a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Hicks, to approve the employment of Lyle Westlake as presented. Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 4.
Item D, we have a recommendation to employ Zeta Bryant for the high school special education vacancy to assist with coordinating and writing IEPs for the long-term sub at Oakwood High School. Ms. Bryant will be on step 6 with a bachelor's degree on the teacher's salary schedule.
Ms. Burton did a lot of work on this one and may be able to talk more about her as well. But she's coming from Mount Zion High School, where she was contracted as a special ed teacher, and she was offered the position to oversee her work at both the junior high and the high school. After discussion of our position and new hires and the move for Mr. Delege, and it was decided that the high school is where she is most needed. And it's been discussed with her, and she has accepted working at the high school. Anything else you want to add?
Zeta has experience both at junior high and high school. She's very passionate about helping students and working with others. She comes with good recommendations, and I think either position she's going to excel in, but I'm glad that she's going to help out the high school because
I would just add to, I just want to thank you both, along with Mr. Oda, for the work you've done on this candidate because it's special education. And she had a lot of opportunities. And we worked hard. I know you worked very hard with this candidate, to secure her and get her at Oakwood. So I commend you for that. Thank you.
She's gonna be full-time, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
A motion to accept the recommendation of employee, Ms. Bryant.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Can I ask a question real quick? If she's going to be teaching special ed and helping with the long-term stuff both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Technically, we had 2 positions there at the high school and 1.5 to 2 at the junior high, I think, right, Mrs. Burton? Something like that. I can't remember. Sorry.
we have 2. The one has not been filled for 4
Yeah.
years.
So, okay. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Ludwig to approve the employment of Zeta Bryant as presented. Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 5.
Item E, recommendation to employ Catherine Waters for the position of English teacher for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Waters will begin on step 11 on the master's pay scale.
Ms. Waters is coming to us from Chrisman High School and Middle School. She's been teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade there for the last few years. She taught high school prior to that, and she wants to get back to the high school level. Love that. Excited that.
Motion to approve, we have a motion to approve the employment of Ms. Waters.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Plattner to approve the appointment of Catherine Waters as presented. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 6.
Item F, we have a recommendation to appoint Anthony Napolitano for the band music teacher position for the 22-23 school year. Mr. Napolitano will be on step 5 on the Bachelor of Science pay scale.
He's coming to us from Villa Grove, and he was also a member of the Marching Illini, which is great. He has been at Villa Grove for 4 years and was at Rantoul the previous year. And I can tell you, from being in on those interviews, we had multiple great candidates for this position, and he has a lot of excitement. I think the kids will love him.
A motion to approve the recommendation to appoint Anthony.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Hicks to approve the employment of Anthony Palatino as presented. Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 7.
Item G, we have a recommendation to employ Heather McMasters to fill the 7th grade math vacancy at the Oakwood Junior High School beginning the 22-23 school year pending board approval. Ms. McMasters will be on step 4 of the teacher salary scale with a bachelor's degree.
Heather comes from Davidville. She's very passionate about math. She and Mr. Harris have already been out here working, and I think she's going to really have a good balance of electronic and paper, and it's going to be a really great fit for her. Thank you. This is repentance for sure.
The motion to approve the recommendation to employ Ms. McMasters.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Janeski to approve the employment of Heather McMasters as presented. Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 8.
We will not be taking action on agenda item 8 or on item H. Item I, we have a recommendation to employ Marissa Wright for the position of 4th grade teacher for the 22-23 school year. Marissa will start at step 5 on the bachelor scale.
Marissa's student taught with us several years ago and has wanted to get back at the grade school, and she is really excited and we are super excited to have her back. She's awesome. So look forward to having her back in the building.
A motion to approve the recommendation of employment, Ms. Wright.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Hicks to approve the appointment of Marissa Wright as presented. Plattner,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 9.
Item J, we have a recommendation to move Lauren Lappin as a preschool teacher for the 22-23 school year. Lauren will start at step 1 on the bachelor scale.
So really excited to come across Lauren. We had talked to Lauren before, but didn't realize she had pre-K. And so as I was researching, trying to find another pre-K teacher, I looked at her resume again. I'm like, oh my goodness, she can do pre-K because there are no applicants out there anywhere. So I reached out to her to see if she was interested. She was, thank goodness. She can't do special ed, but this gives us more opportunities for openings for students so that we don't have to keep any kids on wait lists at this point. So we're really excited to have Lauren. She'll be a great addition.
We have a motion to approve the recommendation of employment, Ms. Lappin.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Janeski to approve the employment of Laura Lappin as presented. Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 10.
Item K, we have a recommendation to approve the Oakwood Grade School, Oakwood Junior High School, and Oakwood High School student handbook revisions for the 22-23 school year as presented. So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Ludwig to approve the grade school, junior high, and high school handbooks as presented. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 11.
Item L, we have a recommendation to approve the district athletic handbook for the 22-23 school year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Janeski to approve the district athletic handbook as presented. Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Yes.
yes. Motion carried by roll call vote 12.
Item M, we have a recommendation to adopt the Illinois Association of School Board Press Policy, 5-year review updates and policy updates, and issue 109 of May 2022 as presented.
Recommend that you approve those tonight so we can get our policy manual updated.
A recommendation to adopt that?
Do these have to sit for 30 days?
Pardon me.
Does that have to sit for 30 days?
We've had these since May.
Okay.
And so I think I have to have these approved. Technically, you have to approve these. I think it's by August 30th.
Okay.
Maybe off on that date, but it's coming up.
My motion to approve item M.
Have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Ludwig to approve to adopt the Illinois Association of School Board 5-year review and policy updates as presented. Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
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 Janeski.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 13.
Item N, we have a recommendation to approve the district health insurance renewal from Clemens and Associates of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois as presented. Further discussion on that, Mr. Manager?
Nothing new to add.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Plattner to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance renewal as presented. Plattner,
Yes.
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 14.
Item O, we have a recommendation to approve the District Prairie State Insurance Cooperative Workers' Compensation and Property Casualty Programs for the 22-23 school year as presented.
Just, the only thing to add to that was just so you know, this also includes student accident insurance as well. So our umbrella coverage. So we're good to go on everything. So I'd recommend that you approve this tonight. We're going to pay the bill tomorrow.
The motion to approve item O.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Plattner, seconded by Hicks to approve the district workers' compensation and property casualty program renewal as presented. Smith,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Yes.
motion carried by roll call vote 3-0.
Agenda item 11, other new business. I don't believe we have any other new business for discussion. I will make a note that we will be having a public hearing on the budget September 21st, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. Again, that is in September. So September 21st will be that budget hearing. Do I have a motion to adjourn at 7:05 p.m.?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Janeski to adjourn at 7:05 p.m. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Yes.
motion carried by roll call vote 6-2.
Have a good evening.
Our teacher.